Alright guys, we're back here again. So, what happened was, one day when I was driving, I used this interface that basically monitors all of the gauge displays through the OBD2 function. And for some reason there was an alarm set. I didn't know there was an alarm set, but it was set for any time I go past 4,000 RPM. And I think that sent some type of signal and messed up what the RPM was reading. So before it was reading perfectly, it was accurate. And then right when that happened, it was when I was kind of, driving spiritedly, and I probably got to about 6,000 RPM. The alarm went off and it basically threw this out of alignment, and it started reading basically like 1,500 RPM was like at 0. So I figured, since I was gonna have to take this apart anyways, again, that instead of doing the soldering the what's called resistor in the back, I'd rather just replace the motor and not have to use a resistor. So hopefully, I didn't want to order like all 4 of these to do them all at once, because all the other ones work fine. Even though, I don't know, maybe I should have, but this was like 13 bucks for one of them. And I figured if I learn how to do it on this one, then, if the other ones start going haywire anytime soon, then I'll just replace the rest of them. But if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I figured, let's just fix the broken one and move on with it. So part number for you guys, don't pay attention to any of the like mag 1 or any of that, but 91255-002, that's all you got to really get. And most of them have this blue mark on them. Even the factory one that I can see inside of here does. So this is the overall shape of it. It's got 4 prongs in the back. And I bought supplies to be able to wick up the solder so I can pull this out. But anyways, before I do that, I got to use your home tools. Basically, get behind these and pull them up. So I'll do that gently with each one of these. And I'm going to put some tape down so I can mark exactly where they were. But yeah, let me get that part going and then I'll show you guys. So again, reminder, what I ended up doing in the last video is basically just connecting a resistor diagonally to the affected motor. Now I think I've updated this since I actually posted that video. I had one basically on each one of these diagonally, just to, like, I don't know, safety precautions or kind of preventative. But that was getting annoying because they were buzzing behind the dash while I was driving. Like, these were wiggling around. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see that, but yeah, this was wiggling around and it was making noise. So I ended up just taking off those ones, and I still got the same effect of just leaving the one to stop the needle from vibrating. And then I put some electric tape over that to keep this one from buzzing around. But yeah, now we're gonna undo that. Basically, I can put this down real quick. I'm going to pull up the solder from all of these with some copper wicking, and then that will free the motor to be able to fall out the other side. But before I do that, like I said, I have to use the fork to get the needles off and then pull the front side off and see what we got. Okay, I didn't mark them because I figured I could just go back in the video and see where they were. This was at 0, this was down here pretty close to the end, and then the gas gauge was somewhere around there. So I'll just look back in the video to see where to reset them. But they came off fairly simply. Once you get off those, there are 2 prongs right here, the long cylindrical ones right there, 1 on each side. You just kind of pull them from the back, the hole's right there, and it immediately starts to come out. Not hard at all, just like comes free. So here they are. Here's all the motors, and this is our affected one, so that's the one we're going to be changing. I've already changed all the bulbs, everything else that I could do from here. And interesting to see, I mean, you have all these other components, LCD displays. I don't know, maybe you could replace those if you ended up having one of those go bad on you. It's interesting from reading the forums from like back in the day when this car was still relevant. When people would have issues, the dealership would just basically say, get a new cluster. Just, that was their solution for it. But I think it's definitely doable to just rebuild them. All right, so update. I had all this solder off, and then I was being a bonehead, and I was trying to like get it off, and I was like, why is it not coming off? It looks like all the solder is off. Not even paying attention. I already knew this too when I started. There's two little screws in here. Now, luckily, I have a Mac rebuilding kit, so it has all these little, can't even focus, they're so small, but I just rebuilt that computer. I put a solid state drive in it, so I just got the tape around it, just making sure it worked properly. So I have this kit. I ordered this. It was like 15 bucks off Amazon, and it came with all these different sizes and hand tools. So good thing, otherwise I would have been stuck here with nothing to get these off. So the size of these, they look kind of starish, but the star ones I had didn't fit. These are just kind of like looks like an Allen head, and it shows the size as 1.3 right there. So these are the type that they are, and it shows the size as 1.3. 1.3 what? I don't know, but maybe millimeters, maybe. But yeah, that works. It fits. So I'm gonna get the other one out, and hopefully it comes out easy. Nice and easy. As soon as I got those screws out, it was already falling out. Here is the insides of the motor. I'm not sure why this thing would go bad. I mean, I don't know how these work exactly, but isn't that crazy? It's just a bunch of copper wire bundled up. All right, so the new one is mounted. I'm gonna solder it in a second, but just wanted to review the placement. So you can tell this needle is up to the right diagonally. These two and the RPM are all to the bottom right diagonally. Now they're all positioned slightly different, so you can see the angle that they're at is just a little bit different for each one. But yeah, those are all angled down to the right. The only one that's not is the speedometer, which is angled up to the right. Just in case anyone's curious, this is a solder I'm using. I got fine solder water, not because you need to get fine, but it just was a good deal and it can be used for this fine. So yeah, I just usually look for what's the best deal on Amazon. Just make sure it has good ratings, and yeah, good price. So soldering is done. Try to make it a lot cleaner than before. Should be pretty good connections. I'll definitely test it before I put everything back together right now. But yeah, now that I know how to do these, I'm glad that I just ordered one because it's pretty easy. So if I need to do this for the future 3, then I can spend, you know, the 40 bucks for the other 3 of them. But for now, should be good. Let me go ahead and mount the faceplate and get the needles lined up where they were, and then we'll try to go reinstall. Alright, so from other videos I watched online, what you want to do when you reinstall the needles to center them is you just put it on lightly so it's actually touching it, you feel the resistance, and you just test out, make sure you get to the end, and then go back to the beginning. And like right there, yeah, okay, that's where it's stopping. So before it was stopping like down here, so all I did was pop this off and then reposition it to where I would think it would stop at 0. So now it's stopping at an accurate spot. You can tell, don't force it. But yeah, just test it a couple times, go to the end, and then bring it back to 0. And it should be good right there. It's a little bit above 0, but I can try to mess with it, get it perfect. Alright, so here's where everything is sitting right now. You can tell the speedometer and the RPM needles changed position a bit when I actually plugged it in. So let's go ahead and okay, my key was stuck for a second. That kind of freaked me out. But let's double check. So gas and temp gauge look like they're right on line. My gas gauge is highly inaccurate. That's why I have this little gadget right here. But speedometer, I need to adjust it a little bit, and the RPM, let's see, it says about a little above 500 right there. Yeah, it's still reading a little bit low, so I'll have to adjust those to a tiny bit. But besides that, everything else looks good. Let's go ahead and shut it down. All right, so with a little bit of fiddling, you can see they're all lined up correctly now. The gas gauge is the only one when I turn the key off. It's a little bit lower than 0, but it seems to go to its place fine once it actually goes. And then all the rest of them are sitting pretty dead center at 0, or as close to dead center as you can get. They don't line up like perfectly on the line, but pretty close. So yeah, that is it. I'm gonna put this thing back together and talk to you guys about what I did. All right, so after being a perfectionist, I did get the gas gauge to line up exactly correct with some adjusting. So there it is. Everything is lined up, working beautifully. No more buzzing needles and no more worrying about using that resistor or having it buzz behind the dash. So yeah. So super easy fix, honestly. I'm glad that I fixed it the proper way. The resistor worked, I mean, if you really want to do that, but with how easy this is after doing it to replace the motor, I would just replace the motor if you guys were going to take the time to do something like this. It's the proper fix. It's a lasting fix. The motor should last. I mean, that one, this car has 150,000 miles on it, so they last quite a while. And if those other ones go out, then I'll just replace all 3 of them for the ones that I haven't replaced yet. I just figured save some money for the time being. You know, it's only 40 bucks. I figured I would just do it. Doesn't take that long to take this out. Super easy. And after I figure out how to do it, I could probably do the rest of them in 10 minutes. So yeah, I hope this helps. I've seen a ton of videos on this, but nobody really breaking down exactly the process for these models. There's a lot of different instrument clusters that use the same principles for Mercedes. So I guarantee it's probably something really similar for your model. And if it's of this era, you're probably going to be using the same stepper motor. So yeah, I'll link the part that I got for the stepper motor wise below, and all the other supplies, I'll link them down just in case you guys don't have familiarity with soldering or those materials. But yeah, if you have any basic soldering skills or you're just beginning, you could tackle this. Not hard at all. And with a little bit of time, patience, you can have a properly working instrument cluster that you don't have to worry about. So thank you guys for watching. Plenty of stuff coming up soon. Big changes for the C55, and there is a change that's already happened for the ML55 that I haven't made a video for yet. So we'll see when those come out shortly. But until then, stay safe. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for commenting and liking. It makes all the difference for the channel. So I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. All right. Peace.